world flooded with noise and superficial advice, Stoic wisdom offers something deeper, timeless truths for the modern soul. This video explores how true character only reveals itself in adversity. When storms rise, masks fall. It's in the chaos, not the comfort. That wisdom is tested, and values are revealed here. We don't chase validation or engage in futile arguments. Instead, we practice silence, self-respect, and mindful detachment. This is not weakness, it's clarity. You'll discover how to protect your mind like a sacred temple, how to walk away not with resentment, but with purpose, and how to preserve your energy for what truly matters. Stay with us as we journey inward, not to escape the world, but to master our place in it. The power you seek doesn't lie in changing others, it lies in mastering yourself. Let's begin. Masks fall in adversity. Truth only reveals itself when the wind rises, when everything's smooth sailing. Anyone can appear kind, but only when the storm comes does a person's true nature reveal itself. A close friend suddenly becomes a stranger. An admirer quickly turns into a critic. Challenging times are like a mirror that reflects what words try so hard to conceal. That is why a wise person does not rush to trust the image others project during sunny days. They wait, observe, and only decide after seeing how someone behaves in their most difficult moments. For adversity does not just wear down patience, it strips away the pretense, exposing the core that no one can disguise forever. Not everyone who has lived longer is necessarily wiser. Not everyone with more experiences sees life more clearly. Experience only holds value when it has been refined through reflection. Otherwise, it is merely old scars repeating themselves. An intelligent person does not seek advice from the majority. They know that truth rarely emerges from noise. If you want to truly see someone, do not look at how they treat you when things are good. Observe how they react when you disagree with them. Children do not learn from what you say. They learn from how you live. The consistency between your values and actions is what inspires most deeply. And so it is with your own life inner. Peace does not come from trying to please everyone. It comes from carefully choosing who deserves to stay in your mind. Letting someone go does not mean hatred sometimes. The simplest way to keep your heart at peace is to stop giving them a place in your daily thoughts. Resilience does not mean gritting your teeth and enduring all pain. It is the ability to stand firm when masks fall away, to look directly at the truth, and to choose to protect yourself without resentment. Thus, every time adversity comes, instead of panicking or complaining, be grateful, for it is then that falsehoods will fall away on their own, and you will clearly see who and what truly deserves to walk with you on your chosen path. The spirit diminishers. Why the wise choose to walk away. Each person's life is like a journey across the sea. You cannot prevent storms, but you can choose your crewmates. A wise person understands that it is not adversity that sinks them, but the people they allow onto their voyage. An intelligent person does not cling to relationships out of history, memories, or familiarity. They are clear-eyed enough to recognize some people are like heavy stones tied to your ankles, dragging you down just as you are trying to rise. And the greatest danger lies in the fact that such people rarely reveal themselves at first. They arrive with warmth, sweet words, and kind gestures, but over time, you sense something is wrong. Exhaustion creeps in every time you part ways. Your self-trust is eroded little by little. Praise once given transforms into subtle criticisms that make you doubt your own worth. A small crack in your mind, if not recognized early, will spread into insecurity, suspicion, and, eventually, the loss of yourself. Dangerous people do not always attack by force. They manipulate with half-truths and gentle, persistent undermining, draining your energy, eroding your trust, and sapping your will to live. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts, and the quality of your thoughts is largely influenced by the voices around you. If you live amidst deceit, negativity, and chaos, no matter how strong your will, sooner or later your mind will be dragged down. Imagine your mind as a garden. Every conversation, every relationship is a seed. Some bloom into wisdom and peace. Some sprout into thorns and negativity. If you do not remove the thorns early, they will spread, corroding all the serenity within you. The wise do not remain trapped in rotten relationships. They do not cling to the futile hope that someone will change. They understand that clinging to those who hurt you is not loyalty. It is a betrayal of yourself. To live a strong and meaningful life, you must protect your mind as you would guard a precious flame against a storm. Choose those who ignite your light, not those who extinguish it bit by bit. Thus, when you feel doubt, exhaustion, or confusion after each encounter, do not ignore those signs. They are alarm bells you need to heed. The wise do not wait until the boat is sinking to leave. They notice the first cracks, and they choose to preserve their peace before it is too late. A great journey is not only defined by what you build, but also by what you have the courage to let go of. Letting go not out of anger, but out of self-respect and peace. Many mistake letting go of someone as an act of hatred, anger, or resentment. But for the wise, letting go does not stem from bitterness. It comes from a deeper truth, the protection of one's self-respect and inner peace. Anger binds you to those who hurt you. It drags you back to old wounds, drains your mental strength, and keeps your mind entangled in meaningless battles. The resilient understand that true freedom does not come from winning confrontations. It comes from not getting trapped in them in the first place. Letting go of a person, a relationship, is not because you are weak. It is not because you lack patience or compassion. It is because you realize that some battles are not worth fighting, and some people are not worth your continued time, energy, or kindness. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay forever. Some are there merely to teach you lessons about self-respect, boundaries, and loving yourself first. Once the lesson is complete, letting go is the next step in growth. The wise do not seek validation from those who have hurt them. They do not wait for belated apologies to allow themselves to move forward. They do not waste precious years hoping others will change. They choose themselves. They choose peace. A life where old wounds no longer have the power to dictate their emotions or decisions. Timely letting go is the silent proclamation of pride and firmness. It is when you say to yourself, "I deserve a life free from the chaos others bring. I deserve lightness, clarity, and freedom." The cost of clinging to those who hurt you is not just repeated pain. It is the delay of your own growth journey. The choice to live in a gray fog instead of stepping into the clear light of self-mastery. Some departures require no words of blame, only the quiet strength of one who has understood. Forgiveness is to free your own heart, while letting go is to protect your soul. Letting go is not an end. It is a beginning, the start of a journey lived with awareness, determination, and a soul no longer shackled by what no longer fits. When silence is the strongest response, in this noisy world where everyone scrambles to be heard, sometimes silence is the strongest response. A wise person understands that not every attack deserves a reply, not every accusation needs a defense, and not every injustice demands a fiery confrontation. Silence when used correctly, is not weakness or avoidance. It is the highest expression of inner self-control. It shows that you have reached a point where others no longer have the power to drag you into the whirlpools of anger, gossip, and chaos. When insulted, you do not react when misunderstood. You do not rush to explain when treated unfairly. You do not scream for justice, not because you do not feel the pain, but because you understand that wasting time and energy on those unwilling to listen only strips away the peace you have fought so hard to build. A lion does not turn back when a dog barks. A river does not stop flowing because of rocks in its path. And the wise do not let trivial matters derail their journey. Many words of attack do not stem from truth, but from the insecurities of those who speak them. To respond is not only futile, it is to lower yourself. The truly strong do not need to win every petty argument. They know how to choose worthy battles, and sometimes the greatest victory is to not fight at all. Silence is a sturdy shield. It protects your mind from meaningless assaults, allowing you to stay centered and move forward without being distracted by the unworthy. But silence is not just for defense. It is also a silent declaration. I am not ruled by impulsive emotions. I do not allow others' negativity to invade my inner world. The wise do not need to shout to assert their worth. Their firmness, calmness, and consistency in action speak louder. Their silence weighs heavier than 1,000 words, cuts deeper than any argument, and strikes stronger than any counterattack. Others may misinterpret that silence. They may see it as coldness, arrogance, or even defeat. But what they think no longer matters, for the wise know you do not need to prove yourself to those who decided not to understand you in the first place. Silence, when born of awareness and self-mastery, is a sign you have truly matured. You no longer live to react to the world. You live to pursue your own values. Do not waste your wisdom. Share only with the worthy. Not everyone deserves your wisdom. A wise person understands that knowledge is not a gift to be scattered among the crowds. It is a seed, and it should only be planted in soil that knows how to cherish it. Some people are not truly seeking truth. They are merely seeking affirmation for what they already believe. Trying to enlighten a closed mind only drains your energy and drags you into fruitless confrontations. An intelligent person does not argue with the stubborn. They do not waste their words on those who listen only to refute, not to understand. They choose silence before ignorance, not out of cowardice, but out of respect for their own peace. Marcus Aurelius once said that the opinions of 10,000 are meaningless if none of them grasp the true essence of the matter. A noisy crowd does not create truth, and arguing with closed minds is a solitary journey into a dead end. Rather than exhausting themselves trying to change others, the wise turn inward to cultivate themselves. They devote their precious energy to sharpening their thinking, nurturing their soul, living by their values, and sharing their wisdom with those who genuinely seek it. Wisdom does not need to shout, it shines in tranquility. It quietly changes the world by its own power, without the need for loud proclamations. Thus, a truly wise person does not squander their wisdom they give, but only to those who receive it with humility and sincerity. You cannot save someone who doesn't want to be saved. One of the hardest lessons to accept on the journey of growth is understanding that you cannot change someone who does not want to change themselves. You can reach out your hand, but if they do not grasp it, all your efforts are in vain. The wise soon realize kindness must be accompanied by discernment. Not everyone who needs help is ready to receive it. Some cling to their pain and negativity as part of their identity. They do not seek solutions. They only seek sympathy to continue complaining. to stay trapped in an endless loop of helplessness. You can point the way, but you cannot walk it for them. You can light up the path, but you cannot force them to leave the darkness unless they choose to do so themselves. And each time you try to pull someone who does not want to change, you waste your own energy, time, and trust. Patience has its limits. Love must be placed in the right hands. The wise know that saving someone does not mean shouldering the entire world for them. It means giving them the opportunity and respecting their freedom to choose, even if that choice is to remain in suffering. You cannot learn lessons on someone else's behalf. You cannot endure consequences for them. Insisting on doing so only exhausts you and robs them of the very growth life is trying to teach them. Seneca once said, "A wise man associates with those who make him better, and vice versa." If a relationship only pulls you down, drains your mind, and erodes your peace, then it is no longer compassion, it is self-betrayal. Letting go of those who refuse to save themselves is not heartlessness. It is clarity, because if you keep holding on, you will eventually sink with them, losing your own path and your own light. Sometimes, the greatest kindness you can offer someone is to let them face their own life. And the greatest loyalty you can give yourself is to keep moving forward, even if it means leaving behind those not yet ready to walk. Letting go is not giving up. It is understanding that each person must take responsibility for their own growth. Forgiveness is to free yourself, not to keep them. Forgiveness is not a privilege you grant others. Forgiveness, first and foremost, is a gift you give yourself. When you forgive, you remove the invisible chains binding your mind, allowing yourself to step out of pain and continue your journey. But forgiveness does not mean allowing someone to keep hurting you. Forgiveness does not require you to maintain the relationship or keep people who have repeatedly trampled on your trust. A wise person understands that you can release resentment without reopening closed doors. You can bless someone from afar without allowing them back into your private world. Forgiveness is an act of strength, not weakness. It is the decision not to let past pain define who you are now. It is a silent declaration. I will not let old wounds control my next steps. Those emotionally mature know that forgiveness is not forgetting. It is remembering the lesson, but refusing to let it turn you into someone bitter or distrustful. Keeping those who have not changed after hurting you, just because you have forgiven them, is not compassion. It is abandoning yourself. Forgiveness must come with boundaries. Kindness must come with wisdom. You deserve relationships that nourish your soul, not drain it. And sometimes, the kindest act you can do for both sides is to forgive and then walk away. The power of silence. When mastering your words means mastering your life, you do not always need to speak. Not every word deserves a reply. The wise understand that mastering your words is mastering the course of your life. In a world where everyone rushes to be heard, silence becomes a rare strength. Silence is not avoidance, nor is it defeat. Silence is a conscious choice by those who understand the value of their energy, time, and inner peace. Each time you react to insults, each time you dive into meaningless arguments, you let others snatch away your peace. But when you remain silent, you retain control. You do not allow others to steer your emotions. You do not let the outer world dictate your inner one. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." The wise use silence as a fortress, blocking unnecessary battles, keeping their mind clear and open. Timely silence is not weakness. It is the pinnacle of awareness, a deliberate calmness chosen amidst countless temptations to react impulsively. Mastering your speech is mastering your destiny. And sometimes, the strongest answer lies not in counterattacks, but in the steadfast silence that cannot be shaken. Don't water the desert. How the wise preserve their life energy. Your life energy is finite, like a spring. If you constantly pour it into barren lands, sooner or later the flow will dry up. The wise understand that kindness, care, and time must be given selectively. Some relationships only drain your energy, conversations filled with endless complaints, promises never kept, and expectations never met, no matter how hard you try. You cannot make a soul that refuses to change blossom into something better. The intelligent do not attempt to water deserts. They do not waste their strength nurturing places incapable of growth. They invest their energy in fertile soil and people, goals, and journeys worthy of their efforts and their heart. Protecting your life energy is not selfishness, it is awareness. Only when your inner strength remains full can you truly make a difference. Can you help others from a place of abundance instead of depletion? Seneca once taught, associate with those who make you better, and strive to become someone who makes others better. If a relationship does not foster growth, but instead drags you into negativity and fatigue, have the courage to let it go. Do not water the desert. Invest your mind and heart in places where growth is possible. Life is too short to waste on the impossible and on those who choose not to change. Withdrawal is not weakness. It is knowing what's worth it. In a world that glorifies relentless fighting, withdrawal is often seen as a sign of failure. But the wise know that timely withdrawal is not fear. It is understanding your own worth. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every relationship is worth your effort and time. Some battles serve only ego, and some relationships only erode the last bits of your inner peace. Withdrawal is not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to choose, strong enough to know that inner peace is far more precious than any superficial victory, strong enough to walk away rather than stay and waste yourself in meaningless cycles. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You can retreat into your own mind whenever you wish." That inner sanctuary must be protected like a sacred temple, not allowing the noise and chaos outside to breach it. The wise choose to withdraw from places that no longer fit them. Without loud declarations, without explanations, they leave quietly, carrying their dignity, clarity, and freedom. Sometimes, withdrawal is the bravest act. It is when you set boundaries, refuse to be dragged into trivial matters, and save your strength for greater purposes ahead. Moving forward is not always the mark of strength. Sometimes, it is the mindful withdrawal that lays the foundation for a life truly worth living. Wisdom is a lighthouse, not a crown to flaunt. Wisdom is not a crown to place proudly on your head while looking down on others. The wise understand that wisdom is a lighthouse, silently shining, guiding themselves and those who genuinely seek the light. True understanding demands no display. It needs no meaningless debates, no applause from the world. It manifests through how you live, how you keep your mind steady amidst chaos, and how you treat even the smallest matters with integrity. Some people accumulate knowledge merely to win arguments, impress others, or satisfy their egos, but the truly wise quietly observe, choose their words carefully, weigh their actions thoughtfully, and spend time refining themselves before attempting to change anyone else. Marcus Aurelius once said, "It is not reputation or praise that defines your worth, but how you act in accordance with your best nature." The wise do not live to be recognized. They live to remain faithful to the ideals they have chosen. True wisdom is humble. It knows when to speak, when to retreat, and it understands that sometimes a quiet action persuades more powerfully than 1,000 words. Living wisely is not about defeating others. It is about becoming clearer, stronger, and freer within yourself each day. And when you truly hold that light, you no longer need to prove anything. Your life naturally becomes the most powerful testimony. Letting go of the past, the beginning of true freedom. The past can be a great teacher, but it is not a place for you to pitch your tent and stay. A wise person understands that clinging tightly to old memories only shackles their feet from stepping into new opportunities ahead. You cannot move toward the future while constantly looking back with regret every time you look back with resentment, sorrow, or unhealed wounds. You hand over your mind's control to the past. Letting go does not mean denying what happened. It means accepting that the past has fulfilled its role to teach you the necessary lessons and then quietly step aside. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The past no longer belongs to you. What remains is how you choose to face today." The mature know that every hurt, every mistake, every failure is part of a larger journey, a journey to becoming a stronger, freer version of yourself. Letting go of the past is liberating yourself. It is ceasing to drag old burdens on shoulders already weary. It is allowing yourself to walk lighter, firmer, with a heart open to the beautiful things still waiting ahead. Silent awareness, the ultimate weapon amidst chaos. In a world constantly shaken by ambition, anger, and fear, silent awareness becomes the ultimate weapon of the wise when you are aware. You are no longer swept away by emotional storms, no longer reacting impulsively to every upheaval. Awareness allows you to discern what is truly worth your concern and what is merely passing noise. You no longer rush into arguments, no longer wound easily by others' words, and no longer drift with the crowd's expectations. Marcus Aurelius once reminded, "You have power over your mind." Awareness is how you practice that power every day. It is when you choose calmness over impulsive reactions. It is when you choose to act by values instead of fleeting emotions. The aware do not need to loudly assert themselves. They let life, their consistency, and their inner peace speak for them in a chaotic world. It is precisely that conscious stillness that becomes an unbreakable strength. Resilience is not about never falling, it's about rising again. Even if only you know, no one walks through life without ever falling, but the resilient are not recognized by how many times they fail. They are recognized by the quiet way they rise, readjust their armor, and keep moving forward. Resilience is not noisy. It needs no audience. It appears in the mornings you get up with a heavy heart, but still choose to take a step. In the moments you stumble and hurt. Yet, instead of blaming, you choose to learn and grow. The truly strong do not deny pain. They face it, accept it, and use their wounds to forge a stronger self. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The obstacle does not block the path, it is the path." Resilience is knowing that every hardship sharpens you. Every failure reveals new depths of inner strength. And sometimes, the greatest victory is simply daring to stand up again, even if no one sees it, even if no one applauds, only you, knowing that you did not give up. Clear purpose, the light that guides you on your darkest days. In the darkest of days, when every direction seems blurred, a clear purpose becomes the sole guiding light. The resilient may not always find the path easy, but they always know where they are heading. Purpose is not just a destination. It is the reason you do not collapse halfway. It reminds you why you began, for what values you are willing to endure hardship, and why you keep walking, even when your heart is heavy and tired. Those who live with purpose do not let circumstances dictate their path. They do not waver with passing emotions, nor do they get lost in the noise of the outside world. They move forward with steadfastness, small step by small step, day by day. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, Our life is what our thoughts make it. A mind clear in its purpose stands firm through all storms. Even if the road is dark, even if others do not understand, you only need one thing to keep the inner flame alive. It is that clear purpose that turns each step into a quiet affirmation. I am on the right path. The journey to becoming the best version of yourself. When you choose to walk the path of awareness, you gradually realize resilience, peace, wisdom, and purpose are not distant destinations, but the small choices you make each day. Each time you quietly let go of what no longer fits. Each time you stay calm amidst the noise and hold your ground. Each time you forgive, but no longer allow yourself to be hurt again. Each time you rise from failure without needing anyone to witness it. Each time you keep moving toward your purpose, even when storms weigh down your heart. That is when you are building an unshakable inner foundation. That is when you are living with true strength, not loud, not boastful, but deep and enduring, like a rock in the sea of life's storms. Keep walking that journey. No need to rush. No need to prove. Just live. Each day, each step, true to the values you believe in. Because in the end, the freest, strongest, and happiest person is the one who masters their own mind and path.